What's up, YouTube? This is my new car and I thought I'd do a video on it and do a series of restoration videos like I did on the Prelude, which I still have. But long story short, if you have watched any of my videos, you'll see that a month or two ago I was with a buddy and he had one of these. It's not this car, but it was a blue one. And he brought it by. We were just hanging out and I had always just kind of dismissed these as a suppository on wheels, and but he said, you got to drive this thing. So I did, and I was shocked, and instantly I realized this is one of the coolest, most unique cars. And so following that, I scrounged up my pennies, convinced my wife that this was better than cocaine and loose women, and bought myself another hobby car for a couple $1,000. So I looked at all over for these, and most of them are in horrible condition. So I looked near and far, made probably 20 phone calls, spent probably 50-60 hours researching until I found this one. And I was checking Craigslist like, I mean, like literally, I'm not exaggerating when I say like probably 15 times a day. And as soon as this one popped up, I looked at the ad, I looked at the car, and I was like, I gotta call this guy. So I called him and went up very quickly, about a 2.5 hour drive, and bought the car. And so I'll be doing a series of videos, just like I did with the Prelude, on this car. It is a 2001 Honda Insight 5-speed in the Monte Carlo blue color. It's a 3-owner car, and it is in gas-only mode, and I'll probably talk about that eventually. But the thing that I liked about this was that it was a fair price for, I think, buyer and seller, and the car is in really good shape. I did spend probably 8 hours detailing it, paint correction. I restored the headlights, and just did a ton of just little detail work to make it look the way it looks, but it ended up really looking good. So but yeah, so I'm gonna do a number of things. I've got a list, and I will be chronicling the journey to get this thing a little better than it is right now. And I'll just show you a little bit about the condition after I pop the trunk. Still figuring out how to do all this. So the battery, of course, is there, and as I said, this is in gas-only mode. The battery on these die, and I guess with this first video, I'll just kind of give you a little bit of the skinny on Honda Insights. The first-gen Insight was sub 1,900-pound car. It's aluminum and plastic. A lot of the body panels are plastic, actually. They made it to be the most efficient car ever, and it was and still is, I think, in terms of a hybrid. The EPA was 70 miles per gallon highway on this thing, and I got on the way back from Atlanta, which was about a 90-mile trip. Once I thought to set the trip odometer, I ended up getting 66.7 from Atlanta to my house. That was mostly highway driving. I'll show you under here. Nothing special, but it's obviously very clean. And so yeah, they made this to be the most efficient hybrid car ever. It has a 1.0 liter 3-cylinder engine, and it's again super efficient. Then it has the electric motor, which adds, I think, I don't remember, but it's like 13-15 horses and 25-30 foot-pounds of torque. Really makes a difference. I've driven these with the electric motor. It's quite peppy. This car with no electric motor working, because the battery is unhooked, because the battery is dead, is like driving a 1980 Honda Civic. There's just no power at all, but it's fun in a neat way. And I'll do another video and talk about just kind of what I like about this car, but this is just an intro. So yeah, but this car, as I said, most of them of this vintage, the batteries last about 10 years. So these are early 2000s cars. So let's say 8 to 10 years if you're lucky. So most of these cars that are this age, this is now 19 years old, 20 years old actually. Most of the cars this age have gone through one battery. The owner put a second one in them. They're about $3,000, a little less if you get a cheaper battery that's doesn't have as much of a warranty. But so usually after about the 20-year mark, the second battery is dead. and you have a car that valued at around $1,500 to $3,000 depending on condition. This would be probably closer to the $3,000, and but you know, to put another $3,000-ish into it, I mean, that's after shipping and installation. If you get it installed, it's just kind of not worth it. So what people did, and what the owner of this did, is put it in gas only mode. And so what Honda did with this is they knew that would happen, so they made the car where it can run just fine in gas only. It just does not have a lot of torque or power. Still gets great gas mileage though. Again, I've been getting, I've only had it 2 days, but around town I've been getting about 64 mpg, and on the highway I did 67 with the air on, by the way, the entire time. So yeah, so that's where this car's at. I could get a battery. It is in such great shape. It's likely that I could put a battery in this for $3 grand and put it on Bring a Trailer and get probably $6,000 for it. There's a lot of gnats here, out here in Georgia. But I don't think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna drive it for a few months, and I gotta get a catalytic converter. They're cheap. I've got to get a windshield, also cheap. Both of those will be under $500, and I'll do the installation myself on the Cat. This is $190 installed. And then there's a few other things I'm sorting out. So I could flip it and probably make $500, but I don't know that I'm going to do that. I'm going to drive it for a while and just, it's a great little car, really clean. Of course, I spent, again, about 8 hours detailing this thing, but, and you might notice it has the S2000 steering wheel, and which is a direct fit, those are about $450 on eBay. So that was part of the incentive to get the car. But anyhow, I'll let that go. I've noticed these videos are usually too long, so I'm going to keep it around 7 minutes and drive it for a few more days, and then I'll come back with some impressions of kind of what my favorite things are about this car. And if you have one or are thinking about one, maybe you can chime in. And hey, thanks for watching. God bless you. Hope you have a wonderful day. Peace.